Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure diorama review. Today, we're going to look at the MMMToys Rolling Shutter Door 1/12 scale diorama. This is a Chinese import of sorts. I got this thing from Big Bad Toy Store. Looked like a great addition to my Gotham City. I'm not sure if MMMToys and 12 World are the same thing. I kind of get the feeling they are by buying both their products. Very similar. If someone has some light to shed on that, drop me a line in the comments below. Would be appreciated. So let's go and check out the packaging. As you can see at the front, rolling shutter door, 1/12 scale, ungraded. One side, made in China. Other side is blank. Blank on the bottom. So no further ado, let's open it up. Alright, now we got this thing out of the package. Here it is. I was very surprised. This thing requires no assembly. Almost all the pieces I buy from these companies require you to put several pieces together to build your diorama. This was pretty cool. Looks like the corner of a building from the outside. We have a little bit of road here, some sidewalk, a shuttered doorway, a little power box here, more sidewalk, some damage to the wall, bricks exposed, piping. It all looks pretty cool and should be a fantastic addition to my overall action figures world and action figure city. One disappointing thing, it's completely blank on the other sides, so you won't really be able to have it displayed anyway except for covering those up. Not a big deal, just something to be aware of. It'd be nice if it was a brick wall in the back so you could have it displayed either way. Now one thing I do want to point out that's very nice about this, the bottom, it has these little sort of cushions on all four corners, so if you slide it on a glass table or wood table, just like I'm doing right now, it's not going to make any scuffs or scratches. Now before we went any further, I did want to take an up-close look at everything. This is the side with the piping. Of course, you can see the pipe going through the wall. You can see the damage there with the bricks exposed. Sculpting, paint job are excellent. The diorama as a whole, it's pretty heavy. It's made of a resiny type material. Moving along the top, more piping. Then we got the door here. Of course, there's this really cool electrical box there. Looks a little beat up, a little warped. Go further down, more damage, brick wall exposed. The door, it's got some posters on it. Of course, it all appears to be in Chinese. Little vent there. Here's a sidewalk piece. One little piece of sidewalk there, a little odd. Then it's got this sort of brick road down here. I would say as a whole, the detailing is fantastic on this thing. When I think of an overhead door like this, I think of a warehouse, loading some product. Usually a warehouse or a factory is a great place for your thugs or henchmen to have a little base, have their contraband there, what they stole, a little hideout to meet up with their other bad guys. Now let's check out the measurements, in case you were curious if you could accommodate this thing, and it's really not that big. As far as how wide it is, about 11.5 inches wide. As far as how tall it is, about 10.5 inches tall. And as far as how deep it is, about 8 inches deep. And yes, I know, that's what she said. And as far as the action features go, there's absolutely nothing, which surprised me a little bit. I thought maybe it might have a functioning light like some of these other dioramas. I do have some portable lights. It wouldn't be bad to try to add one to the top of this thing here. Went ahead and took a light for another diorama. It's a little bit too big and bulky and noticeable, but I don't have a light smaller than that, and it only really seems to make sense to hang off the existing light there. Here it is, with the light off. Then, with the light on. As bad as the actual light fixture looks up there, the effect has come out very nicely. Here's how it would look with a light on in a completely dark room. And here's how it would look in a room with a semi-dim light. Here it is, next to another similar custom diorama that I have. I bought this thing on eBay a long time ago for a pretty cheap price. This is another shutter door diorama. It's outside into a sort of loading area. You can see where the truck will be able to back in there. Nice addition to the city that I have. Both of these will be. Here it is, next to an older Jack's Wrestling overhead diorama. This diorama's pretty cool, kind of basic. The two cardboard pieces recently got a ton of water damage to them, and they'll never be the same again. I actually have 3 different variations of this wrestling playset, but like I said, it's very basic, only a small fraction of what you would need to call it an actual playset. Now let's get some guys in this thing, and it looks like it'll accommodate any 6 or 7 inch scale action figures. Here it is, with a couple of Mezco Reservoir Dogs figures. We have a couple guys in suits, looks like some henchmen guarding the entrance to their base. These guys are close to 7 inches tall, but notice they're sitting on the sidewalk too, and they still have plenty of clearance with the doorway. And a couple more henchmen guarding the entryway for their boss. And it doesn't have to be regular thugs or henchmen. It can also be supervillains, henchmen guarding their lair. Here's an entrance to where the Joker's having his base right now. A couple of very obvious Joker henchmen guarding the door. Here's Batman approaching his doorway. We got 2 thugs or henchmen guarding this for their boss. Batman demands to see the Penguin. They say, "We don't know any Penguin. We don't know who you're talking about." Shortly after, the thugs are both on the ground. Batman is banging on the door, determined to get to the Penguin. These 3 men are bothering this young woman. "Hey, what's up, girl?" She tries to ignore them, and they get her cornered back in this alleyway. He pulls out a knife. Batman comes out of the shadows, puts himself between the thugs and the girl. The thugs are dumb, think they can take on Batman. Batman makes short work of the thugs, wiping this guy's grin off his face. The last thug he takes and shoves his head into the overhead door. Meanwhile, that woman in the back, the victim, is watching the entire time. She won't be so scared the next night. What other suggestions do you guys have for this diorama? It's really only one thing. The outside of a building, the end of an alleyway leading into the building. If you think of anything obvious that I forgot about, drop me a line in the comments below. I would love to expand what I'm using this for. Now let's check this thing out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how it fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can use with it. And like I said before, I'm pretty sure it's going to work with your smaller 6-inch figures, and all the way to your larger 7-inch figures. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller. Here are some Jack-specific wrestling figures in this diorama. They're about the tallest thing I collect, and it works pretty good. And here it is, with some DST, or Diamond Select toys. And here it is, with some McFarlane toys. Notice how much shorter is Batman than the other figures. That's because he's in the street, and they're on the sidewalk with the height upgrade. Then, with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here it is, with some NECA figures. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, with some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here it is, with some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, with some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here it is, with some Mafex figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here it is, with some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a very nice piece. It looks fantastic. Paint job, sculpt are excellent. My only complaints would be, it's really just not big enough or wide enough. As you can see a ton of black when I'm shooting this thing. In order for this to take a widescreen shot, you'd have to really zoom in and miss a bunch of the diorama. It'll work good for some close-up shots, but shots like this, not quite so good. Luckily for me, I bought this thing just to enhance my overall action figure city, so for that purpose, it's going to be fantastic. But if it was just a little bit wider, it would work better. This will probably work good for phone photography if you're holding your camera in the upright position. But for widescreen photos, which is what I prefer to take, it's going to leave a bunch of gaps on the sides. In addition to that, it really needs at least one light on top of the doorway there. That would really make a big difference in this diorama. It takes it from being basic like it is to just being a little bit over the top. Unfortunately, Those two complaints do hurt my enjoyment of this thing, but it's still going to work perfect for what I got it for, and that's just enhanced my overall action figure city. If I were to rate this thing, I'm probably going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. I was hoping to enjoy it a little more than I am, but the flaws I mentioned, they definitely take away from my enjoyment. That being said, it is still fantastic. Look at the sculpt, a lot of realism here. I might pull off those posters, as it's supposed to be Gotham City. Not really Chinatown and Gotham City. I'll give that some thought before I do anything. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.